all about taking ownership of your own. It's about you. Outside world is same for almost everybody. It may be slightly here and there. We can't change the world. We can change ourselves, and it's about us. The journey is about us. Might as well take charge of our own journey.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And that's a very common myth. So you come with the mindset that the coach is going to come and give you answers and solutions, and then you get hit with all these questions from the coach and like, hey, why am I sitting in this session if you're not giving me those answers? So yeah, that's one other myth that we're sitting with is your coach is not going to give you any answers, mostly answers, but more questions and getting you deeper understanding perspective. I remember in our sessions we had some beautiful insights where you were able to figure out your own inner courage in terms of claiming space. And I found that coming through questions where you said, hey, I think I need to, start claiming and grabbing and claiming that situation. So I think I felt the level of confidence through that journey for you grew quite a bit, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely, Sandra. Actually, this is one of the things which I'd say. There is one remark I categorically remember, uh, which I may not want to be connected very often, but it was there, and I would want to remember always. A reluctant leader. It was mentioned in such a way, and I thought, is it my confidence level, or is it that I don't know about the leadership at all? But that's something which told me slightly that it is my confidence side which I'm not claiming my own space. There are lots of things which I want to do, but I'm not moving in that direction. When is what the question keeps coming into my mind. I was not taking ownership on those things. As simple
Mm.
as you just spoke about sketching as my hobby, I've been sketching with charcoal since I was age 4, but I never got into the paint. I always wanted to get into the paint medium. And one of those sessions when I was talking to you, you said, "What's wrong? What will happen? You maximum spoil your clothes." And now I'm happy that I paint almost every 2 3 months, and
Yeah.
I've been able to take over that space. And that's only one. I think there are many such spaces which I was able to work on. Some of the things which I took as my development plan, I was able to click on them in within this journey, big tick mark, and I'm still continuing with them. So that's my glad thing. Uh, I won't fell short. I will want to say definitely that's coaching has been the greatest gift I've ever got. Whether it is professionally or personally, it has helped both sides. Of course, we know it. It will help both sides, and that's why I call it the best gift.
Yeah, yeah. So beautiful that you see that. And and that's probably another insight or direction that you can help you and help the listeners as well. And this may be a rhetorical question. Does coaching actually work? Um, and I know people come with their goals, and most of them come with professional goals. And from my experience, it's gone X plus from those goals. And it's gone beyond professional lives. Like you said, it touched your personal lives as well. Did you feel coaching enabled to bring some real shifts, and not just real shifts, but sustained change in your life? I know you gave an example of you only dabbling with charcoal, and then now you paint quite frequently, and that is something that you've been able to sustain for yourself. Are there any more instances or anecdotes where you feel that coaching just helped that unleash that part of you, whether it's your personal side or professional side?
From an action item perspective, Sandra, many. Like one of the thing I wanted to get into philanthropy. I come from a very small town in Uttarakhand, and I wanted to do something for the people of there. It was just a thought in my mind. Did nothing about it. But with during my discussion, we thought at least I will put it in the paper, and I claimed that okay, before the age of 40, I would need to do something, and just before I turned 40, I mean a month before, I was able to do something for them, and that's we are continuing to do that. We run a small setup there, and we are able to give some sort of a work for small village people, and that gives me happiness. That's another aspect I would say. Uh, Largely, I would say something which coaching changed within me is the self awareness. The sense of self awareness has heightened to an extent which I have never even thought of. We all make mistakes, at least I do, and I'm able to see that this is the mistake which I've done now, and this is the time when I need to go back and say, well, hey, sorry, I did this. Uh,
Mhm.
it happened just, or sometimes we think, I think through and then take an action on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is when, Sandra, I would bring that how I entered into the second stint of coaching, because I was aware where I'm going. And this
Mm.
time I was aware that I need a coach. First time
Yeah.
I may not be aware and I didn't know about the journey. The second time I was aware, very well aware. And of course, since I was aware, since it was from my side, I was able to look into the journey much deeper, much easier.
Yeah, I connect with that. In fact, yesterday we talked about this as well, that in your second coaching stint, the movement was much faster because in the first journey, I think there's a lot of work that you did on self-awareness, understanding yourself, knowing yourself. And I think that ability gave you the sense, that intuition that, this time, and I think that happened what, 2, 3 years ago, the second one,
Yeah,
3 years ago, that you got that instinct that this is the time I need a coach to help me move faster in the direction. And that's brilliant. We all need coaches at different times for different situations. I had a couple of coaches. I have a couple of coaches still active that helped me in different phases of my life. And I remember people would tell me, "S- you coach so many people, can't you just coach yourself? Why would you pay another coach for something that you've trained for so many years, and you do that as a profession?" And I always tell myself, everyone needs a coach. Everyone. The world's best athlete also needs a coach. So who am I there? I definitely need help wherever it's required. And it's also good having, somebody who's outside, external, who's non-judgmental, who's not involved in your life, who can give you that perspective, who can shed that light or shed the mirror whenever it's required to see how that looks. That brings me in a beautiful moment. I had this aha moment, and I'm not sure whether you had an aha moment in this whole coaching journey, but I remember an aha moment that changed my whole trajectory in terms of a thought. I had this like years ago. I got coached by Dr. Prabhakar Kamath. He's been our mentor, our coach, more than our coach for many, many years. And I always grew up with the motto, silence is golden, right? If you don't have anything good to say, don't say it, don't create conflict, don't go poking holes. If there's some conflict happening, just stay away. Silence is golden. And I stayed away from all kinds of conflict by not speaking up all my life and my initial career as well. But there was an incident where two people I respected a lot had different opinions, and I chose to stay away and not take sides, which didn't help the situation, didn't help the relationship in the long run. And I remember Dr. Kamath said this one line to me. That's it, just one line. And it shook me and changed my stance from then. And I remember where I was sitting as well. This was like, I was on a brown couch in a house, 5 houses away. So I've been shifting a lot. So 5 houses away. He said, silence can be hurtful. And this blew my mind. It was like a punch in my gut. And here I had conditioned myself that I'm not hurting anyone by speaking up or choosing sides. And I'm just doing the opposite. I'm actually hurting by being quiet. And so for me, that was my stand up moment. And since then, I kind of remind myself every time when there is a conflict happening and I feel that I have a strong opinion where I need to support somebody, even at the cost of my relationship with the other person, I am going to speak up because silence can be hurtful. And probably that person needs that extra voice to support them. So I don't know whether he had something like that, but for me, that one statement, silence can be hurtful, has been sitting with me for many years. And it
One
just,
thing, one thing is there for sure, Sandra. One, of course, as I said, sometimes like it's about you taking charge, which is about ownership of your own. That's one. And during these discussions, I also discovered and found how we can do it. Differentiate the situation from the person. It
mm,
the situation of the person that he's acting, or he or she is acting that way. It's not the person alone. So if you're able to talk to him, just like you said, if you're able to talk to the person openly and sort that,
mm,
that solves
mm,
for it. And conflict is good,
yeah,
absolutely good, so long
yeah,
as we know how to manage it positively. And there's
Yeah.
a positive impact for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. I like that. Healthy conflict is extremely, extremely important in any kind of relationship. I'm shifting gears from an organization perspective, and the reason I come is sometimes I've just been given clients to coach, and that's it. And I often feel that's not a very healthy way to continue, because you can't just, this is a leader, I need you to coach, and now it's on the coach and you to figure it out. I feel that there has to be a tri-party, an environment that supports the coaching intervention and the client success. So, from an organization perspective, and you've kind of been both, you have been coached, and I know you also coach people, and you are a leader as well. I'm sure you're sponsoring people for coaching as well. How can organizations or leaders create an environment for coaches to succeed?
Just like I shared in my journey, if the sponsor is able to clearly articulate the reason why we are coaching and what are we going to achieve from that, that's one I would say. Along with that, be the mirror, either the person or somebody within the organization. We can bring somebody being the mirror, that whether we are moving in direction which we wanted to. Last but not the least, I will actually share one funny but yet very incident which has actually touched me. We were about to coach somebody, and somebody told him that, boss, organization is looking to chuck you away. They're going to fire you. That's why they're giving you a coach. And that was the hurtful situation, I would say, because this is where you just said sometime back. It is an expensive setup. You do only for people who you really care for, and you wanting to do all those setups for their personal growth. And we were able to talk to the person, explain to them what exactly it is, and kill that myth about coaching. It is about coaching. It's not about giving probation. It's about actual development of the person. I think the open discussion, sharing exactly what we are looking to do, is what we can do. Uh, Kill the myths about coaching for sure. This probably we are trying to do today. That will make a difference for many, many people, I would believe.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good start point, so that, even the coachee, when they get into the coaching intervention, the intention is very clear. It is for me to succeed and move ahead. And I can now go full throttle in these conversations without the anxieties and fears on the pressures of it being successful. But it's more for the environment taking care of that. Beautiful. I'm going to come now, and I'm seeing some interesting comments here, and something about you also coaching here in the comment. We'll pick that up. But before that, I want to come to a controversial questions, and that is, and I've been asked many times, is there a bad coach? And I've also been asked, is there a bad coachee? Which we'll probably pick up in some other LinkedIn live. But for you, is there a bad coach? With so many coaches out there now who are qualified and who may tick all the boxes, how does one go about picking the right coach for themselves?
So first of all, I don't know whether I'm the right person to answer this, but to me, is there a bad husband or a bad wife? There could be a bad marriage. So it's about fitment for sure. As a coachee, I would say the person needs to be more aware or starting point. He needs to be coachable. That's the first step. Uh, from a understanding view of a coach, as so long as person is genuinely interested in your journey, genuinely working for you, I don't see that person can be a bad coach. And I think coaches are trained for that anyhow. So very tough for me to say there's a bad coach.
Yeah,
Could be a bad or could be a misfit.
yeah,
But
sure.
yes, there are some people who are non-coach, uncoachable or so. But at some point of time in their journey, they could be coachable.
Yeah, yeah. I
There,
completely agree with you.
there is a interesting anecdote I keep saying to my people and they laugh at it. Uh, from forced change is only an infant who likes it when he's wet the nappy. Otherwise, nobody likes forced change. But we do change when we like it.
Yeah,
So when we like it, when we are ready for coaching, mostly that is the best time.
yeah. So true. And that's where my answer also goes when is there a bad coachee? And I feel there's no bad coachee, but it's the timing that's critical. Is the coachee willing to get coached at this moment? And sometimes they're not. And that's okay. It might not be the priority, but the time comes, and then it's perfect for both. So I know how, so great insights in picking up coach in terms of fitment, in terms of chemistry. But if you were to guide somebody and there is a chemistry call, so that's what happens in organizations. They may have some coaches, and if you're getting coached, there may be a chemistry call of 15, 20 minutes with the coach. Now that's a very short time to see whether I can have intimate conversations with the coach for 6 to 8 months. But having been coached a couple of times and also coaching people and being a coach yourself, what are the three things, if you could say, okay, in these 15 minutes, these are either three questions you can ask the coach or three cues that you can pick from the coach, which can help you kind of close on to that coach, or you feel that it's the right coach for yourself?
I, I wouldn't say, Sandra, there are three things, but definitely one thing is about the profile of the person. What the person needs to understand about you, about your journey. But deeper than that, just like in any organization for work, we talk about attitude versus skill or will versus skill. Similarly, it's about coach's side. Their interest in your journey plays the large part than actually their profile part of it. And
Hmm.
the interest in your journey is easily found, I would say, within the 5-10 minutes of your talking to the coach. Uh, when you're able to see whether the person is willingly listening to you, is interested in you, is running the journey with you, you will be able to actually openly speak to the person, be vulnerable with the person. I would
Yeah.
That is the first thing. If you are able to be vulnerable with the person, I think that's a big tick mark. Go for it.
Yeah.
You will not find that coach alone. That's the
Yeah.
best thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I would double click what you said is in that moment in conversation, do you feel you can share your weaknesses with this person? And the answer within you comes a yes, then yes, they are creating a safe space for you to have that conversation.
And again, I spoke sometime about this being marriage linked to the coach and coachee. Similar, it's about dating. You get to know within the first 15-20 minutes of your when you go on a date whether this is the person with which you would want to meet next time or third time or fourth time. It is just something which clicks into you and you get to know.
Yeah.
It's more about emotion. It's more about what you're able to generate from the confidence from the other person. I think being intuitive in these things works far better than looking at the profile.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to use this opportunity to bust one myth. And I've often had these questions with the zillion chemistry calls that I've had. And I want to offer this to people who are looking for coaches. Um, to your point, Rakesh, it's very important what you said is notice what you're feeling with the coach. Are you feeling safe enough? Do you feel you can have multiple conversations there? For me, that is really important than the questions that people ask coaches in terms of have you had the experience of coaching this problem of mine? So very often, for example, I'm getting into a space of either digital transformation or I am going to take over a startup or be the next CEO. And the mistake often people make, and maybe initially I did as well looking for a coach, was have you been a coach? But is have you done the same thing that I am looking for help? Which I feel you may cut off the right coach if you're looking at the coach doing the same thing as you're doing. So if you're a CEO, don't look at a coach who is a CEO or has been a CEO. If you're into digital transformation, don't look at a coach who has worked in digital transformation because you're not looking for a mentor here. That is a space for mentorship. A coach is where you actually don't know. You have a broad idea where I want to go, but I don't have clarity on steps because I don't know how much more there is within me. So somebody who can help unlock that potential, which means is we have to open can of worms, which means I need to feel safe enough, and the coach giving me that subtle push direction, very honest feedback, and creating that safe for us to explore. I think that is what you want to be looking at in a coach when you're having those questions, the ability for the coach to walk the journey with you, to explore with you, and to be able to push you when you feel that
Actually,
you're getting
beautifully,
grounded.
beautiful, Sandra. Actually, that's I would second that concept equally. If the person is from your domain, maybe it happens that he may start running his journey through you, and just maybe. But if the person is absolutely neutral, he is able to see again. Sorry, he or she is able to see something which nobody else seen. It's absolutely uncharted territories which both of you can do it together.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. In fact, yeah, you don't want their knowledge. You don't want
Yeah.
secondhand knowledge for yourself, right? You want your own. Um, just a couple more, and then we kind of open up for questions. And these are really good insights for somebody who's wanting to get on the coaching, um, and somebody who's sitting on the fence. So, if somebody is starting off a coaching intention journey, what do you feel that they need to do? And what are the signs of success? Because sometimes I can just have conversations and I'm feeling really good about those conversations with that person, but what is the kind of success that they need to look out for, that they are in the right journey and they're doing the right things with the coach, or they're maximizing their conversations with the coach?
So first of all, somebody who's in the fence, I would say many congratulations. You've reached there at least. It's just a matter of time that you need to jump and across the road. Otherwise, many people are just walking. They don't know when will they reach there. So that's the first, I would say. If you've reached there, now is the time how you can actually give your trust into this entire methodology or entire setup, and we cross that barrier. And we've spoken many things about this right now. It's all about trust, and it's all about that feeling, that emotion which you need to feel. It's the talent is within you. The talent is, everybody has their unique talent. The coach is going to help you uncover or unleash that through you, through the answers you will give rather. So what we need to expect is right now somebody who's able to guide us, somebody who's actually able to make us more uncomfortable during the journey. And that's what I would say. If you have reached that level, please move, please cross. This is the time, because you've reached there anyway.
Yeah,
uh, I spoke about having somebody as a mirror. That's somebody internal whom you trust a lot. If you can place that person equally with you, and that person can be telling you each and every step that, okay, I can see a change. Okay, I'm seeing this. Are you doing something about it? You don't need to mention that what you're doing, or maybe sometimes you need to mention, I'm going to consciously work on this direction. Please guide me. Please help me, or let me know whether I'm moving in the right direction. I think that's how we can see our journey moving. We can see we are able to get the maximum out of this coaching. And
yeah,
believe me, I have full confidence when the person runs the journey, they know they have been able to make a difference within their own life. It's
yeah.
nobody else who will tell them, they will know in their own life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I haven't come across a single person who hasn't made a change or who's not happy with coaching. And myself as well, with different coaches I've had, I've always made some shifts. And I think what you made, the mirror point is brilliant, is sometimes we are making the shifts, but others may not be seeing it, especially if it's corporate sponsored. And you want others also to notice the change. And so having that mirror, that person who's saying, hey, reflect back, are you noticing a change, also consciously gets people to put the spotlight and notice that shifts happen. So that's one brilliant technique we can use to, let others know that, hey, I'm doing the work, are you also noticing the change that I'm making?
Actually, when we speak about that, there's another technique which you shared, and I'm still continuing to do that, is keeping anchors. I still have some anchors with me. For example, the picture of waltz dance. I still keep that. I
Ah,
still refer to that waltz. That, I mean, that's a beautiful story which I still remember. That how you can use waltz in your conversation, in your negotiations. And I also remember one of the time when I was using it, and I came back and told you that how
yeah,
it was used, and how that time Rakshit noticed, and he spoke about Rakshit, our CEO that time. He noticed, and he shared with me that, okay, I see somebody playing a game of chess.
yeah, yeah. Would you like to share with the larger group that waltz analogy, the story? What does
Yes,
waltz mean?
yes, surely. So in the discussion, I was not very sure how to talk to a customer, because customers can feel uh, absolutely egoistic sometimes, and can feel that you are being on their toes. So the waltz is about one step up, then one step back, and then two step to give them, and then pull back. So when to pull, when to push was a beautiful analogy, and I would say that's a beautiful thing which I still keep with me. When to pull and when to let go.
Yeah,
The other person needs to feel that he or she is equally in command, and that's the best position to be. The dance,
yeah,
because it takes two to tango. Similarly, it takes two to waltz.
yeah. Dancing in the moment.
And somebody who has two left feet, Sandra, who can
I
never
remember
dance.
you saying that.
Uh,
Doesn't look like anymore if you've been able to tango for a long time. You found your moves.
Professionally, yes, maybe.
Great. Now, just the last question, and I see so many comments here, and thank you everyone for putting that down. I'm going to come to each one of you. The last one now, we've talked about corporate sponsorship. I know a lot of now clients are sponsoring coaching on their own because they're now owning their growth. Especially young leaders, millennial leaders are just sponsoring it for themselves because they want to kind of not wait and move up the ladder faster. And now, with everything going tech, what's your take on coaching through a tech platform, whether it's AI or picking a coach profile from the platform? Where does one go about looking for a coach if it's not corporate sponsored?
Okay, I'll just share one thought which happened just recently with me during pandemic. One of our close friend of mine, he lost his job, and he was questioning his own identity because he's again been a very senior guy who's been asked to leave. Of course, it was a situation set up. He wanted a coach. He reached out to me. I think that's one of the steps. You reach out to your larger circle, your friends, your people whom you are trust and whom you can reach out to. Of course, there are Googles. We all know that we can always do a search in about or Google, but that's about finding the answer and not really finding the person.
Yeah,
As a human, at least I personally believe that being a people person, at least I can say, it's more about that human touch. It's more about that emotion. It's more about the person who's interested in your journey authentically. A system or a bot may not be, I'm using the word may, at least right now, may not be able to do it because they
yeah.
only believe in zero or one. That's how all systems are assigned.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
The setup of emotion is still lacking and
Yeah,
will always be lacking, at least to until I'm there, at least. That's what I see. So the emotional part, the human
yeah,
touch part is only through through human coaches. And if you want to
yeah,
reach out, why not reach out to your larger circle? Do
yeah,
we reach out to a circle even to do basic shopping? This is about your life.
yeah, yeah. You know how convenient it is, now? And I'm just realizing when I have to go and get opinion about a product that I need to purchase, you just have so many people and you quickly ask. But for coach, therapist, you take some time doing that. And I take your cue. I mean, if you feel that you have the potential, there's something within you, you feel confused, reach out to people around you anywhere. Even if you don't have people around you, just put questions in forums asking, hey, anyone's got coached by a good coach, would love recommendations. And you don't need to sign up with anyone. I feel just do your chemistry call with your coaches and then give them all answers. Have a couple of them, and that should guide you in getting a right coach for yourself. Mm.
And I would also add, Sandra, I've also met some coaches who would openly say that I am not for you. And I
Mm.
really respect those coaches. That's the best I would say because they know in this journey they need somebody else. Some people
Yeah,
will refer to somebody, or some people will at least say, I'm not
yeah,
for you. Okay, you find somebody else. And my respect
yeah,
to them. This is where I say that trust comes automatically to those people then.
yeah, yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Rakesh. They were brilliant insights for me. I hope a lot of people have taken insights, especially people sitting on the fence or people who already got coach, got some beautiful insights from today's conversation. I do want to take some comments and questions from the chat here. Uh, there's so many here. Urvashi is mentioning having a good coach can bring out the best in you for sure. Gatik, the right coach can truly enable transformation. Wow, Rakesh, great initiative. Kudos on meeting your commitment. Gorang, interesting conversation on leadership journey and self awareness. You would know Naomi. She's in fact said something for you. When I've received the gift of coaching, it felt like a punishment. Rakesh encouraged me to take advantage of the opportunity, irrespective of why it was given. So brilliant. This is what you're talking about is internally in the organization, just prepping coaching intervention up. Best thing that ever happened to me. Always grateful to Rakesh and of course my fab coach. Brilliant. That's a beautiful way to enable success. Ankita, how can a person realize that he or she needs coaching for his or her profession and personal life? Good question. Any thoughts on that, Rakesh?
If you're getting stuck on something and you're not able to find that solution, reach out to somebody who will talk to you about it. And you'll be able to see whether it's a mentorship need or it's a coaching need. This is what
Mm,
I feel. Uh, Largely from the mindset, if you are not able to get into the positive mind frame, definitely you need a coach.
yeah. 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 To get clarity. Sometimes it's just too crowded over there and you need some clarity. Ayushi saying just a question. Some organizations still do this, coach people, and then they say they are incompetent. Even the coach couldn't help you and fire them. So I don't see a question here, Ayushi, but I understand there could be situations where even the coach couldn't help, and I think that's what we've been talking about is the right timing, whether the coach is ready, whether it was the right coach for them, and also the environment. What is the organization environment? How's the organization created a path for success? Than just handing over the client to the coach. So there are a lot of factors that go around it, and I feel sometimes when there's a miss in one of this, we miss the success metrics on it. The other thing I wanted to add, and it's a good point that Arushi you brought it up, is having midterm checks. So a coaching intervention can be for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. Instead of waiting it for it to end, I always recommend, the after first 3 months, do again a tri-party meeting between the sponsor, which is the organization, the client, and the coach, to find out is it going the right path, and to do a stop gap arrangement or check in to see whether it's working, not working. And that hopefully should avoid the situation that you mentioned, that even after coaching, things haven't helped. Swati, good stuff. Sandra and Rakesh, thanks for bringing up amazing conversation. Jagriti, nice point, Rakesh. I agree. There's nothing like a bad coach or coach. It's just the missing synergy between the two that makes the coaching experience bad. When everyone needs a coach, it doesn't matter whether you are. Amita has mentioned there's a conversation about building a coaching culture in organizations. Can managers be taught to become coaches? My understanding is that coaches are different from mentors. Is that possible? How does it work?
I would say, in fact, right now in this talent world, we need more coaches for sure. We need less managers. If you are hiring somebody who's full of talent, last thing you want to do is tell them what to do. They know what
Mm,
needs to be done for your organization. You just need to give them the clarity of your larger goal,
mm,
and that's
yeah,
where the coaching steps in. I would say yes, we need more coaches than managers. It is definitely doable. Uh, More and more managers should be looking at coaching their people rather than managing them as such. I'm personally not a fan of managing people anyway,
yeah.
so maybe it's coming from within me.
Yeah, yeah, and I do want to call out manage what Amita's mentioned is mentoring and coaching. There is a distinct between mentoring and coaching, and as managers, I tend to mentor because I've done it and I've kind of moved up, and I am here to help you get better. So it's easier for me to tell you or guide you how it needs to be done. Coaching is a slightly different beast in terms of you need time, you need patience, and you need a skill set, which sometimes with when you're sitting in the frying pan and you're missing deadlines, getting that patience of asking questions and building potential can be challenging for managers to do that. But I do feel that it is important to have both skills, and there is a timing for both. It's
True.
important to be able to have that skill set.
And there is
Uh,
importance of both completely. Yeah, I agree with
yeah,
you.
yeah. Luan's asked, are there different styles and types of coaching? There are different models of coaching, but it depends on the coach and the client. I think a trained coach usually has different tools in their toolkit, different coaching models, and the right coach is basically just keeps the tools aside, listens to the client, the coachee, and just intuitively know what tool to bring in that moment and use it. There are many models. There are, of course, the ICF model. There's Gestalt. There is neuroscience. There is um, grow model. There are a lot of models there, but I think it just for me when I coach a client, I don't think of any models, and it just comes out what I feel in that moment the client needs and go with that. Sometimes no model at all. Sometimes a space to just hear. Yes, Bhupendra is mentioning, I believe now hybrid work environment, it's more a need of coaching than managers. Um, yeah, that's been a lot of talk about in hybrid. How do we do more coaching? Have you had that challenge, Rakesh, in your organization in hybrid and coaching
Uh,
people, managing?
Not really, Sandra. In fact, as an organization, I would say we believe one of our core value is people. And we anyway invest a lot in people's development through various trainings, educational setups, and definitely interventions and coaching. So
Yeah.
that's something which we, at least I personally don't see, and I don't see things around me that has been a challenge. In fact, we've been able to manage the hybrid far better to my expectation. I thought it would be challenges because we are into transactional business, but I was able to see that okay, lots of things are being managed. People are working from home. Some people don't have space, so they come to office for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But otherwise, not really.
Yeah.
Touch wood.
Yeah. Yeah, and I resonate with you. FCM India does too. At least pre-COVID, did a lot of workshops. Even post-COVID, you did a lot of internal workshops that I'm aware of, to just keep people
During
new,
COVID as
upskilled during yeah, during COVID also. You did a lot of workshops, and which is a good thing because once you get people together, you're able to create that space for people to talk and share what needs to be done as well. Great. Juhi mentioned silence can be hurtful, can relate so much with this, and this changed my approach to a lot of things. Beautiful. Gorang
is
has
it
asked,
something to do with women in leadership, Sandra?
yes, that's a good cue, but I do want to pick up Gorang's mentioned a question, and then we'll come to women leadership. Are external coaches preferred compared to internal coaches in the organization? Brilliant question. I'll leave that to you, Rakesh, to answer.
Brilliant, actually. Yeah. So tough one actually, but I would say both works. As I've earlier said, if you are able to be vulnerable and being absolutely genuine, authentic with a person, it can be both internal as well as external. To some extent, I feel external is slightly edge over the internal because they are not in your day-to-day work schedule and are not into your or are not actually so much entailed into your day-to-day work. So slightly edge for the external coach, in my view.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yes, there is a space for both Gorang. And as Rakesh shared his view from being from the inside, my view from the outside is um, one, everyone needs a coach. Everyone cannot get an external coach. So, therefore, it gets very important to have internal coaches to try and cover as many people as possible. External coaches have a space when they are certain people, whether they're leaders or whether managers, where you need a specific skill set or you need speed or you need a massive shift in that person. That's where an external coach can come in with their years of training experience to be able to make that change for the person or group of leaders. So that's how
Well,
it's a great combination between internal
very
and
well.
external. Thank you. The other question is about how we have friends and peers and colleagues going through burnout and fatigue and pressures at work. How does one know which modality to point a friend to, whether a psychologist, healer, or coach? So I can jump in on that
Yeah,
question,
I'd
and I
love to.
think, and
It's your
that's yeah, and that's a brilliant question because we don't know if you're sensing burnout and fatigue and pressures. We need to have them understand at what level they're looking at today. Is it really burnout where they feel paralyzed and they're lost completely? Then I would say, speaking to a psychologist or therapist, I would say even go to a therapist, not even a psychologist, and just sort things out if it's needed. But if you're feeling a little confused, if you're feeling that I'm getting stuck in a rut at work and I don't know what to do next, that's a great place for coach where I'm feeling stuck, I'm feeling rut, but not necessary massive mental um, fatigue or areas over there. So that's for me is difference between therapy and coach. Counseling again for me it's about I need to move to the next level and I need to take some strategic steps. Who's the right person who's done it? So it's more closer to a mentor to figure out, hey, I've got these options in front of me. I've got two, three options. Which option should I pick up? You've been there, done it. So that could be a great space for a mentor or counselor kind of to help that person move out. Counseling is in fact more from an early works perspective, also which is the right career direction. But coach is something if I were to say in one line, what's next for me? I don't know. That would be a great place to go to a coach. If that's a question coming to your mind, what's next? I don't know. I'm lost. I'm stuck. What's my potential? That's a coach's domain that you want to go to.
Super.
All right. My tummy is full with all these questions and insights. This has been an amazing, amazing chat. I love the action happening over here as well. I hope we've been able to answer some questions or myths or doubts in your mind for those of who are watching and listening in terms of what coaching is all about, what are the myths, how you can make most of a coaching engagement, and how do you pick the right coach. That could be just one step away from you unleashing your potential and being able to find answers that you would have probably never been able to find out. So, my wish for all of you is um, to see what serves you best and find somebody who can support your journey. On that note, we have a special something for those who've stayed back for a long time. We've just launched a sneak peek. We've been running a very successful women leadership development program called Evolve. We've been able to partner with some very leading, mature, large organizations, and they've been able to help us build this beautiful transformational women leadership journey. We want to take a moment, a minute, just to show a little promo of what this looks like and leave the thought with you. That's another area that we'll be talking with you soon. Hopefully next month we'll come with a live with understanding how do you run women leadership programs, what should you be doing and what you shouldn't be doing, and busting some myths over there. So here goes.
Are women a checkbox? No, right? Why should investing in women development just be a checkbox exercise? What makes a woman leadership program truly impactful? Is it flavor of the season content? Or scaling up with recorded online courses? Is that enough to drive real change? If you want to start with breaking the internal glass ceiling and unleashing the true potential of your women talent, then your search ends here. Welcome to Evolve, a transformational learning program where we take women professionals through an inside-out journey and bring out real behavioral shifts in the shortest time. The Evolve journey is rooted in research and designed using pattern-breaking, transformational methodologies, building a safe space for women to reflect deeply, share openly, and grow collectively, helping them emerge as role models for other women in the organization. Because every woman needs to discover, I am not alone, and I can become my best version. So, join us on this transformational journey. Reach out today and let's start a conversation.
Super.
Thank you, everyone, for your time, your patience, your comments, your loyalty. It's just truly a pleasure having all of you and being able to serve you in whatever manner we can. Just want to leave a thought on this topic that we're talking about coaching works. A good coach can change a game, a great coach can change a life. On that note, wishing you all a wonderful weekend, and we'll meet again in the next live. Thank you, everyone, for your time and energy. Have a great
Thank you,
one.
Sanjay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rakesh, for
Thank you.
coming over and spending time. I know you're not well, but
All my pleasure.
really
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
that.